Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Mustang rear axle overhaul. This ended up going to be a 3-part video, so I spent some time cleaning everything up and taking the old bearings off and put the new bearings on and getting the differential assembly split apart and just different things to inspect everything. And I did find some issues inside the differential with the spider gears, so I can't find new spider gears, so I'll have to assemble it and see if I get my clearances, and that'll be in another video. Okay, some video of me splitting the differential case apart. Now, I don't know the proper way to do this, but I ended up miring the metal and had to clean it up with a stone. But it was well worth it. I found that the spider gears have some wear and tear on them, and hopefully the clearances will come out for me at the end, but we'll find out in part 3. Thanks. All right, this went really well on the other side, but this is our axle bearing. This one's be the passenger side. This wasn't my idea. I hijacked this off of somebody's YouTube channel, and if I can think of it or find that video again, I'll give them credit for it. But this is my version of it anyway. They drilled a couple of holes. What I want to do is, you got this spacer here on top of the seal bearing, and of course your seal runs right here. What I'm going to do, this is all pressed on. I got lucky with the carrier bearings on the differential and just use some pry bars and they come right off. But this is interference fit, pressed on type bearing. I could probably heat this a little bit, and I might be able to pry it off. I don't want to damage the shaft. I've already spent more money on this thing than I want to, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch it right here. And I'm going to drill a hole. I'm not sure what size bit it is, but it's doubled. It's just under the width of the spacer. So it's got a big cold chisel and a ball peen hammer. I get right on that slot there, or that hole I drilled. I rest the chisel on the bearing and try not to hit my hand, and okay, so it moved. So I can give her another whack here. All right, so I think I got her there. Yep, one more whack. It's moving on me. There we go. Okay. It took like 5 minutes or less. You can kind of see the notch. Okay, so that's that spacer. Now to get I'm going to use a grinder. I'm going to cut the outer race off, split that off. Probably have to cut it on both sides, and then I will notch this inner race and hit it with a cold chisel, and it should loosen it up. I should be able to just pull it up. Yep, I'm wearing my safety glasses. Okay, so I use my chisel and I'll cut down this. Split that off. Now I got the bearings exposed, and this is all junk. There was still a little grease left in there. I might have gone another week or two. All right, so there's the bottom seal. I'm gonna see if I can just break this off here. Get that down where I can. Alright, so use the grinder again, very carefully so I don't cut the axle shaft. I'm gonna pierce this inner race. Alright, I'm gonna try that. The other side's split. So here we go. All right, hang on. Yeah, I had it. Do this again. That's it. So that'll come off. So I split it, and then there's the rest of the junk. Bearings. I got bearings all over the floor now. I'll let the grandkids pick them up sometime. They'll have a blast doing it. So that's it. Okay guys, I wanted to introduce you to a product called Ospho. It's a rust neutralizer, I guess you might call it. So in the instructions you clean everything and get all the loose rust off and do the best you can. So here's what I've done. Got degreased them twice and sanded them and scraped them and wire brushed them, so they're looking pretty good. On this yoke I put a little coat of transmission goo on it, and the rest of them I just did the best I could. I probably won't do the underneath side of those pieces there because they're going to be sealed up pretty tight anyway. Backing plates, same thing. I just did the best I could and didn't spend a whole lot of time on them, but I did degrease them and everything after I sanded them. So I'll show you the bottle here in a minute and show you how to apply the product. Okay, here's the bottle. It's Ospho, not Ospho. It's a rust preparation product. It's an acid, so it basically gets into the rust and turns it black. Like a lot of other chemicals out there. I like it because I can get it locally. I can get it at my local Ace hardware store. I think it was about $20 for this quart jar of it. But it's really thin like water. You can spray it, you can brush it, you can put it on a rag and damp it. You just want to apply it liberally, but don't leave any puddles, because the puddles will dry and show up as imperfections under the paint. Okay, so I just poured about a 1/4 inch in this little cup here. Everything you're going to use, you either throw it away or you got to rinse it really good. So here's these bearing keepers. I'll just liberally put a coat on here, and I think I'll just go ahead and do the inside a little bit here too. Just let it soak. And that's really all you do. Just make sure you keep your splash down so you don't get it all over you. Just put a little on there and it'll eventually turn that rust black. And I think you gotta let it set overnight, and then you can prime it with an oil-based primer. I've used epoxies, but they say it may not work. So buyer beware, I guess you might say. So we'll just put a nice coat on here. And you can see some of it bubble sometimes. Now if you got dirt on there, it won't turn the dirt black. So that's something to keep in mind. I'll let you know how clean you got it. So this isn't the Mustang isn't a show car, so we're not too concerned about what it looks like. We just want to kind of clean it up, make it look a little decent, keep it from rusting anymore. Okay, so it's been overnight, and all the rust has turned black now. And what I'm going to do is I'll wash them with a Scotch-Brite pad, a little soap and water, and then I'll shoot some primer on them. The instructions say just to knock any gray scale off of them, and then you can paint them. But I like washing them first. But it neutralized them. It looks pretty good. So I'll get these painted up and continue on with the project. All right, and this is my homemade bearing driver. So this is the inner pinion bearing, and this is the one that the spacers go under. And I used pry bars to get the old one off. I mean, they slid right off effortlessly. These gave me a problem going back on, and I just had to beat them and until it went on. And you can kind of see in the video, it just slowly keeps going down. And I'm not using a lot of force with the hammer. I'm trying to be gentle and stay on that inner race. And fortunate enough that I didn't damage the inner race, so got it on there and didn't have any more issues. Okay, and this is just after showing that I got the bearing on and I didn't damage the inner race on it or the outer race, and it looks pretty good. Now my problem will be if I have to add shims, I'm going to have to take this probably and use a press and press that bearing off to add my shim. So I still don't understand why there was such a big difference in tolerances there, but the bearings are identical, the numbers are the same, so must have just been somewhere. Okay, I don't know how many takes this is going to get to get this in. I got my brace for the outer pinion bearing, and I'm going to try to hammer it in. I got a little transmission assembly lube, and I'm just going to put a little really light coat on here just to kind of help this thing to slide in. And so we'll put that in. I'll get it started here. Now when I took those out, I went from the back side with a long punch and I popped it out and just hit all the way around it evenly, back and forth, side to side, and it come right out. So I've got a set of metric seal drivers. I got them at Harbor Freight. So I'm going to start with this flat one here because it almost fits the OD of it, and I'm just going to tap it and try to get it started. Okay, so that's started. And I've got the actual one, not sure what size, that's 72 millimeter. But that fits right on the edge there. Hopefully that'll be enough to get it in. Okay, so is still intact. I got about, looking down in here, I got about a 1/4 inch to go. So I'm going to go back with this one and turn it upside down. And I'll put my handle on it. About a 1/4 inch to go. Just about there. Looking good so far. I think I am there. Let's roll this thing over and see what we got. Get a flashlight. Yeah, it's bottomed out, so let you guys take a look here. There we go. So it's bottomed out in there, so I'm going to do the outer one next. You might have caught it in the previous clip there, but I damaged the case with the drift when I beat that outer race out. So just showing you guys here that I took a stone grinder and ground it down and got it flat and smooth, and that way I was able to press the other bearing in. Okay, so the inner bearing outer race gave me some problems here, and I was afraid I was going to damage it because it kept moving around on me. So what I ended up doing was putting it in the freezer for about 4.5 hours, 5 hours, trying to get it to shrink a little bit so I could slide it in. I've seen where they've used liquid nitrogen and actually shrunk them in, and you didn't even have to heat them or hit them with a hammer to get them to go in. But anyway, after this attempt here, it went right in just fine, and I used my driver like I did the other bearings and everything, and it hammered right in. I didn't have any issues with it. So okay, here we're just pressing on the axle bearings and the spacer. It went really well. Didn't take much time at all to press them on, but then I realized once I got them pressed on that I forgot to bring the retainers with me. The retainer plates go on first and then your bearings. So anyway, I got them pressed on, and the way we went, the next day I had to get a bearing splitter and put it on the other side and press the bearing off. So but everything went really well, and the bearings didn't damage the bearings, and you know, they're working great. I've got them at the house here now, ready to do my final assembly. So thought I'd get this video out to you, and before I started the assembly process, it's going to be about a 15-20 minute video for both of them, so we'll leave it at that. Thank you.